My name is Debbie Dalton, and this is my husband Rob, and we moved into this house in Edina, and we realized everything kind of needed to be redone.
Yeah, I grew up about 6 blocks from here, and my grandparents lived here. And in about 1951, I think my grandfather bought this lot, and the house was completed in, I guess, 52 or 53. So it's always been near my house, but my parents took it over when my grandparents were too old to stay and moved into nursing care. My parents lived here for like 33 years. And then they got to a point where they couldn't keep the house up just at the time we were ready to downsize. So it was perfect for us to buy it and take over. And with Craig's help, we retained sort of the charm of the house, but it's just so much more livable. When people walk in the door, even if they hadn't seen the house before, but especially people who had seen the house before, when they walk in the door, they go, wow, this is so cool.
We started with the most urgent things first, which were outside, and we had them redo the siding and the roof, and the windows needed to be replaced, and they did a portico and entrance to the front of our house. The inside of the house needed to be redone, and so we asked Craig if he'd be interested. Craig really listened to what I wanted and what we wanted for entertaining. I wanted a dining room table that would be partway in our kitchen, and because the house is so small, it would extend into the living room. And it meant taking that wall out, and other contractors we had talked to and other interior decorators had said, oh, you need a peninsula, you need to have stools there, and then put a big dining room table in the kitchen, in the living room, and I didn't want that. And he listened, he goes, sure, we can do that, and I'm just very happy with the decision that I made and that he was willing to follow through.
Between Craig and Deb, they figured out like chandeliers and things would give a little bit of a natural break between the kitchen and the living room without it being so intrusive like a peninsula would be.
Right.
Craig, above anybody else that we talked to, really understood, really knew how to listen and add to the ideas instead of kind of fight about whose idea was right. So we really liked working with him.
Craig and his employees at Legacy Building Company really listened to what we wanted. We had some ideas on the outside of the house, and because it's a small house, he really kind of looked at it and he goes, well, you know, think about this. Remember about them?
Yeah, we had a list of ideas we wanted him to look at, and he actually took some of the ideas off the table because he thought it would be overkill.
And he was right. It definitely was. But we had this idea about a portico on the front of the house, and specifically what I wanted and how I wanted the roof to slope, and he listened, and they did it.
Another thing that I really liked is that he knew how to retain what was special about this house, because it was a 50s era house that had a lot of built-in things that we needed to break down or extend, and he figured out a way to do that so it looked like it had been part of the original construction.
We had 2 entryways that were curved and arched, and the one entryway going down to the basement was a squared off doorway. And he said, let's finish that and make it look like it always was here. And it does. Nobody really even knew that there was a door there. We have crown molding in the living room, and when they took the wall down, they had to extend that crown molding into the kitchen to make sure it looked nice, and you can't even tell where the original started and the new molding went in, and it made everything just flow together beautifully.
Yeah.
We would definitely recommend Craig and the Legacy Building Company. We have referred him to friends.
The only downside to having Craig was that after he was done, my parents wanted to move back.